Let's look at RumbleON. First off, read this disclaimer carefully and do your good deed of today by liking and subscribing. We will go to a megatrend which I have called eCommerce. Here it is. If you look here at the performance vis-a-vis the S&P 500, it's a pretty huge outperformance. We have had, quite significant pullback recently. Some huge ones here, as an example in Overstock, minus 48% from the 52-week highs. Hence, there might be some time to look for some speculative bullish opportunities. Okay, I will look at RumbleON. They sell vehicles through the internet. The reason why I call this, a bit speculative at the moment is because of what's happening in the market. Because let's quickly look at the S&P 500. We haven't really had a serious correction in quite some time. And that's certainly a bit of a risk factor. If you look also at the Nasdaq, we have had a little bit of a pullback, but, we usually, when we look back in history, we go occasionally even below the purple 20-week moving average. So that's, a bit of a caveat. Okay, so here is the company's website. 52,600 vehicles to choose from. So you can browse our listings, get pre-qualified. They have live auctions, RumbleON Finance. So definitively, a very, very interesting company. So let's go here to the About page. Within our first 2 years, we grew to buying and selling more power sports vehicles than anyone in the nation. And we did it by making the process of selling your vehicle quick, transparent, and safe. All online from anywhere you are. Let's go here to list. And when you think of these kinds of vehicles, motorbikes and the like, here you can see, the vehicle type, watercraft, boats, RVs. These are the kinds of vehicles that will likely see an increased demand as the lockdown restrictions are relaxed. And, there's been some interesting moves here, by, I think it was Mississippi and Texas. Because, these are more, social in a sense. Because there's a far higher percent of people who enjoy these kinds of vehicles that are members of clubs related to that vehicle type. That is not the thing with cars. People who have cars very rarely are, member of, some car club, where they go to, meetings and so on. So if you look here at the seasonality of the stock, we do not have many years. We only have 4 actually, because 2021, it is still ongoing. Hence, we need to be very careful about making assumptions about seasonality. What we do have shows that April tends to be strong, but June and July are the superpower months. But be very careful about that kind of seasonality, because the more years you have, the more, reliable it becomes, up to around 20 years, I think. So here's the chart. Weekly data points, all the data we have since the IPO. Initially, it spiked very significantly, and that is, common for IPOs. They can be very volatile here, almost 200%, and then it's all given back, and then we crash down here, minus 94%. So definitively a stock where you want to let the trend be your friend. What I find, interesting at this point is that we have, let me show you the kind of pattern we have now. So it's called a cup and handle. And you can see that here you have a bit of a handle, and this is, a bit of a clear cup. A very interesting and relatively reliable technical pattern. If we look here at RSI, nothing problematic there. Let's go here to the correlation. Yeah. So the correlation with S&P 500 is minus 51. Looking here at the daily data points, here you can see, that cup and handle in much more detail. So the 200-day moving average, it's gone from being negative to now pointing upwards. So there's been some very constructive developments. A key moving average to watch is this blue 100-day moving average. Here it is resistance, it becomes support, resistance, then surgical test as support. So that is constructive. The problem I see here is the accumulation distribution, which we would certainly want to see higher, to corroborate the rally. But all in all, technically this looks speculatively bullish, but it is very contingent on these, especially really the 100-day moving average holding. It is very critical, and below that, of course, you have the super important 200-day moving average. It must hold. The correlation here short term is only 55% with S&P 500, so it is very interesting to find securities that do not have a too strong negative or too strong positive correlation. Here we have Finwiz. We are in this channel, so there's also this channel support here. Looking here at the Analyst price target, which I like to look at. The problem is that the price targets are old, but based on what we do have, they suggest from the current price a 41% upside. Saks.com, they have a number 3 hold, but they have a B value score, A growth, and A momentum. So A growth, obviously that's super good, and it is very interesting to have a B value score for an e-commerce, very disruptive company. That is rare. So that is definitively something I would classify as rather bullish. This is a small company. The market cap is $86 million US. And that's rather interesting. Okay, so to sum up my take here on RumbleON, I do think that the theme is interesting. E-commerce, and this is also one of those avenues of e-commerce that is still undeveloped, where there's a lot of growth potential. Because, buying and selling books online, that's, nothing new about that. But these, different kinds of motor vehicles, that is very, very interesting. And they have, that auctioning system. They're doing a lot there. So I'm bullish on that. Looking at the technicals, that also was towards the bullish end of the spectrum. It is very contingent on some support levels holding. When it comes to seasonality, I think we kind of can ignore the seasonality because we do not have that many years, but this is what we have. The fundamentals were very interesting. The Analyst price target suggested upside, and Saks.com, I mean a B value score for an e-commerce company, that especially a small innovative one, that's very interesting. And the business growth was amazing. It was A. So yeah, all in all, I think it is much easier to make a bullish case for this stock, this company, than a bearish one. The only caveat I would put in there is that we do have a little bit of a correction in the market when we look here at if we look here at some of the other mega trends. They are up a lot and they are certainly outperforming the market. But as you can see here, the distance from the 52-week highs, there's quite a few that have taken a bit of a haircut. But that was certainly to be expected, given the huge moves that we have seen. Whatever you do, of course, you want to be as market neutral as possible in your overall portfolio.